Well, my dad loved water skiing. His whole family was into water skiing. He really wanted a son and he didn't get one, and I was the firstborn, and that was the closest thing he was going to get. So he decided that I was going to be a water skier. And I still remember, like, I think I was 7 years old and he sent me to my first ski school, and I remember being so homesick. Here I am, this like tiny little kid with all these adults. It wasn't even on school holidays. And yeah, I didn't like it all that much after that. It kind of felt a bit lonely. And then how he got me back into it was there was a ski school being held across the road, like opposite the lake where we used to live. And he's like, I'll give you $50 if you go participate in this ski school. And you know, $50 to a 10-year-old kid, that's a lot of lollies. So of course I was like, all right, sure, I'm in. And I happened to win the most improved award at that ski school. And it's also when I met my coach, Jody, who absolutely idolized at the time and still to this day is one of my like closest, nearest and dearest friends. I love her dearly. She taught me so much about life. But yeah, so anyway, so from that moment, I liked it again because I won. And I also got $50, which, as I said, a whole lot of lollies to a little kid. And then she said, look, I'm having a tournament at my property on the weekend or the following weekend, why don't you come? And because I'd been at that ski school when I was 7 for a week, I actually knew a few things and I happened to beat the state champion. So I was like, oh, I like this winning. And anyway, just kind of like snowballed positive reinforcement, I guess. And then, yeah, 10, 11 years later became a world champion. And then, yeah, then it kind of ended there really quite abruptly. But it was an incredible experience and it taught me a lot about life. I saw the world by the time I was 19. I learned a lot about goal setting and choices, and I guess it kept me out of a lot of trouble because I was a bit of a energetic kid. It's going back a long way. Okay, so there's a few things. I guess my biggest takeaways from it was that I had such a kind and loving environment to fail and fail and fail and fail and fail until I eventually won. And why I say it like that is because every summer, I'd spend almost like 6 months of the year living at this water ski school, and every time that we got on the water, Jody, my coach, would be in the boat and she'd always be telling me like, you know, how to do it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And sometimes I did do it and got a little bit better, and sometimes I just really sucked and fell over and over and over and over until I didn't. And I guess one of the biggest lessons with that is that I've always sought feedback about how I can do things better, and being totally okay with the fact that I'm gonna fuck it up until I eventually get it right, but I will eventually get it right. So I think there was a lot of that, and I had such an incredible supportive environment that really facilitated that for me. And I was really passionate about it. It helped that I guess things were a little bit challenging when I was a kid, and that was my escape. It was like this whole other world where Kelly Bowen, who was a teenager and having to go to school and hated all of those aspects, got to be somebody else, got to be a total rock star who was really good at something. And yeah, I guess an overachiever was born in that. Good question. Resilience, lots of resilience. I think I saw Mindvalley had this incredible guy on stage. His name's 𝙒𝙁. If you haven't seen his 45-minute talk about being the best, I highly recommend going and watching it. And there was one thing that he spoke about that I really resonated with, is that working on plans with long time frames. So I think he became like the best safety in the world for like, what do they call it? ARL, NRL, whatever it is, they're football over there. And he had like this whole 10-year plan to get there. And I think about it, it took me 10 years to win a world title, maybe 11. So having this longer time frame, knowing that you can be the best, and being okay with working on a longer time frame, and being okay with knowing that between where you are and where it is that you want to be, there's going to be some hard knocks. And as long as you keep focused on that big picture and being okay with it's not going to be the instant gratification, it's not going to happen overnight. But if you show up day after day, time after time, you will eventually get there. And bringing that level of resilience to it and having been conditioned to that. So now when things like 2020 happens and COVID happens, it's like, all right, well, eye on the prize, the big picture. If I keep going and I just keep swimming, I will eventually get there. Yeah, so that's probably like the biggest thing. Work on long time frames, because if you do, you will always get there. It's the short time frames and the expectations that fuck things up.